Welcome, dear learners. Our session today centers around the captivating world of lac culture. In an agricultural country like India, insect cultivation is an integral part of agricultural practices, complementing traditional crop cultivation. Beekeeping, silkworm rearing, and lac insect cultivation are prominent examples of insect cultivation. Lac insect rearing, requiring minimal technical expertise and time, stands out for its ease of cultivation. The extensive practice of cultivating lac pests on a large scale is termed as lac cultivation. Students, for us to delve into the intricacies of lac culture, it is imperative that we familiarize ourselves with what lac truly is. The term lac is believed to originate from the Sanskrit word lakcha, meaning 100,000, and is suggestive of the large number of insects involved in its production. Lac is a valuable resin secreted from the resin glands present in the abdomen of lac insects. The secretion of lac begins immediately after the larval settlement on the new and tender shoots. The lac insects feed on the sap of certain plants and continuously secrete the resin, a protective covering throughout its life. The lac glands open on the dorsal surface of the body through various holes. This secretion appears first as a shining layer which soon gets hardened after coming in contact with air. India stands as the leading global producer of lac, contributing to about 70% of the total worldwide production. Most of the lac is produced in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh regions in the country. The practice of lac cultivation is highly valuable due to its capacity to yield a range of byproducts beyond the main lac resin. Some lac byproducts, such as shell lac, have historically been in demand for use in industries like woodworking, cosmetics, and food. Shell lac, derived from lac resin, is a versatile material known for its use as a natural polymer in coatings and finishes. Lac dye, another byproduct obtained from lac insects, has been traditionally used as a natural red dye in textiles, cosmetics, and the food industry. The demand for natural dyes has seen some resurgence in the recent years due to increased consumer interest in sustainable and eco-friendly products. Lac wax, another byproduct, can find applications in the production of candles, sealing wax, and certain cosmetics. In view of this demand, farmers are expressing their keen interest in lac cultivation. In contemporary times, engaging in lac farming not only complements crop production but also offers a viable avenue for additional income through associated business ventures. By providing guidance on agriculture-related ventures, we can potentially enhance farmers' income while simultaneously contributing to the economic growth of our country. Now, let's briefly explore the historical background of lac culture. The description of lac insect and its host plant, Butea monosperma, is recorded in the Atharva Veda. It is also mentioned in the Mahabharata that Kauravas built the highly inflammable Lakshagriha or Jatugriha or lac house with a motive of physically eliminating Pandavas by setting the lac palace on fire. Several commercial uses of lac have also been mentioned in Ain-e-Akbari. Lac was first recognized as an export commodity in the 17th century and was exported to Europe in 1607. It is important to note that its demand was not only for resin but also for crimson dye obtained from washing of raw lac. The demand of resin was surpassed by the high demand of lac dye during the 17th to 19th centuries. However, the demand of lac dye crashed during the later part of 19th century with the discovery of synthetic aniline dye. The consumption of lac as a raw material for various industries such as gramophone, surface coating, and polishing tremendously boosted the demand of lac resin in foreign markets during the 20th century. The continuous growth of lac trade and its diversified uses in every sphere of life has led to various scientific investigations since 18th century. Father Tachard in 1710 sent a memoir from Pondicherry to France in which the distribution of lac, its physico-chemical properties, and methods of processing have been enumerated. Roxburgh in 1789 made significant contribution by his study of the life cycle of lac insect. Anderson in 1791 published a monograph on lac. Owing to the increased consumption of lac resin in electric, defense, and gramophone industries, high international demand was seen during the First World War, which was followed by several scientific investigations in the field. However, drastic downfall in price of lac was recorded during the post-war scenario. In 1921, the Government of India constituted Lindsay-Harlow Committee. The primary objective of this committee was to address concerns related to synthetic resin as well as fluctuations in the production, pricing, and the quality of lac. Indian Lac Association for Research was constituted to execute recommendations of the committee, and Indian Lac Research Institute was established in 1924 at Namkum, Ranchi. The institute was handed over to newly formed Lac Cess Committee in 1930 and then to the Indian Council of Agricultural Research on 31st March 1966 after the dissolution of the former. Fully devoted to strategic research and development of lac, this institute is only of its kind in the world. Studies carried out on the entomological aspects of lac insects at the Indian Lac Research Institute by Mishra, Glover, Negi, Krishnaswamy, Mehra, Vashni, Chauhan, and many others have also provided sufficient information about lac insects. Since the production of lac is the function of cutaneous lac glands of these insects, their knowledge thus forms the priority for those who are associated with it. Export of lac touched a peak of 42,367.7 metric tons during 1936 to 1937 for rupees 234.21 lakhs on increased international demand. This peak was never reached, again mainly due to threats from synthetic resins, hard competition from Thailand in lac export, and finally because lac was replaced by PVC in the gramophone industry. Bad days of lac actually started from 1972 to 1973, when the quantum of export went down below 5 figures, which was roughly about 7,563.5 metric tons for the first time, after which it occasionally crossed 10,000 metric tons. During the last decade of the 20th century, a turnaround in lac export could be noticed as the lac resin was again being glorified due to its eco-friendly and biodegradable properties in an environmentally conscious world. In addition to traditional areas of its utilization, some new areas have been identified, of which food industries, coating of medicinal pills, cosmetics, fine chemicals, and perfumeries are worth mentioning. The internal consumption, which was once limited to 15% of the national production only, has now reached the level of 30 to 35%. With the advent of new sustainable and profitable lac production technologies and gradually increasing national and international demand of lac, this industry is expected to grow by 45% annually. This will help to provide bread and butter to nearly 5 million downtrodden people of the country, mostly tribes inhabiting geographically handicapped regions where the Green Revolution is yet to reach. Now, students, let's talk about the lac insect. Lac insects are the members of the family Caridae. The family consists of 9 genera, while the number of species reported vary from 87 to 100. Two genera are found in India, Paratachidina and Caria, with latter being the most important and widely exploited for lac cultivation in India. The family Caridae is described based on the sclerotized characteristics of an adult female. These are sucking insects that live and feed on various plants. These insects prefer warm climates and are distributed in tropical and subtropical regions. Lac insects have sexual dimorphism. Females and males have different life cycles and morphology. The adult male is mobile and has legs, well-developed antennae, simple eyes and no mouth parts. The adult female is immobile and bound in resinous secretion with a sac-like body appearance, vestigial antennae and no body segmentation. Generally, lac insects are bivoltine, having winter and summer generations every year from July to December and January to June respectively. Female larvae and males can produce a small amount of lac. The female can produce and secrete reasonable amounts of lac at the adult stage. Lac insects would not exist without the support of host plants, and now up to more than 400 lac host plants have been identified. These insects fulfill their nourishment by sucking the phloem sap of host plants. The female insect then secretes lac around the branches of host plants. Lac insects are very particular in their selection of host trees. They remain attached to the host tree throughout their life, except the crawler and the male adult. A lac culturist must have knowledge of the life cycle of lac insects and must be able to identify the stage at which lac is produced maximum for it to be harvested. The life cycle of lac insect has 4 stages: eggs, larva, pupa and adult stage. Now we will talk about the phases of life cycle of lac insect. First is fertilization. The male adult walks over the female incrustations and inserts itself into the female cells, where it fertilizes the female. One adult male insect can fertilize several females, and soon after fertilization, it dies. Next up, egg laying. After fertilization, the female grows rapidly till it becomes capable of egg laying. A single female lays an average of about 200 to 500 eggs after fertilization. The next phase is egg hatching. After 6 weeks, the eggs are hatched into first instar larvae. The mass movement of these larvae in search of suitable place to suck plant sap is called swarming. Now, the pupal stage. A larva is a sluggish and continuous feeder. It encases itself and the twig by secreting a resinous secretion from the body. The secretion hardens upon contact with air and is called lac cell. Inside the lac cell, the larva undergoes 3 moltings. During molting, male and females lose some body parts. Now, the adult stage. Male larvae develop into male adult insects and are without any mouth parts and thus do not feed. The adult female is smaller in size than the male and is without legs and wings. The female larvae never move out of the cell once they settle down after swarming. Let's discuss the status of raw lac production. As already discussed, India is the leading producer of lac in the world. Following India, Thailand is the second largest producer. Other countries contributing to lac production include Indonesia, various regions in China, Myanmar, the Philippines, Vietnam, and Cambodia. In India, lac production is predominantly concentrated in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, and Maharashtra. Among these lac-producing states, Jharkhand claims the highest rank, followed by Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Odisha. The combined contribution of these top 5 states amounts to approximately 93% of the total national lac production. Students, you must be wondering how the cultivation of lac begins. To start lac cultivation, two important things are to be taken into consideration: the suitable host plant onto which the lac insect thrives, and the availability of healthy brood lac in time. Major lac cultivation operations consist of 6 stages. Let us discuss them one by one. First step is the selection of suitable host site for lac cultivation. For lac host plantations, it is essential to choose sites situated in open areas with minimal fire risk, allowing for unrestricted air circulation around the host. When initiating cultivation in new areas with lac host plants, it is advisable to prune the selected host trees before infection to enhance lac production. The chosen lac hosts should be fairly fast growing, have a lower sap density, and be well adapted to pollarding. The subsequent step involves the pruning of host trees. To obtain tender and succulent twigs from nutrient-rich trees, it is essential to conduct light pruning at specific times, facilitating the easy rearing of lac insects. For safflower trees, pruning takes place in January to February and June-July. As for palash trees, pruning is recommended during the fall. Next is the inoculation of brood lac. Brood lac refers to mature lac where the young insects are prepared to emerge within a specified time frame. To optimize lac cultivation results, it is crucial to plan the work systematically. To transfer lac insects onto nutritious trees, a bundle measuring about 6 to 9 inches in length and containing 3 to 4 stalks of lac is created. This bundle is strategically placed at various locations on the lac tree. This process involves facilitating the emergence of young lac larvae or crawlers from their mother cells and allowing them to settle on the host plant. Typically, this entire operation takes 2 to 3 weeks to complete. The residual lac sticks, termed punky, consist of numerous stalks left behind after the release of baby moths from the used up brood lac. Typically, the emergence of lac larvae from brood lac concludes within a 3-week period. To safeguard the new lac crop from insect predators and parasitoids and to prevent the wastage of lac due to the drying up and falling of punky on the ground, it is essential to carefully remove it. It is brought down from the trees either by climbing or by using a pole-mounted hook. Next up is the harvesting of lac crop. Harvesting involves collection of lac from the host trees. It may be of 2 types. Number 1, early lac harvesting, and number 2, mature harvesting. Immature harvesting and collection of lac before swarming is known as early lac. It is generally found that early lac gives better production. In mature harvesting, lac is collected after swarming. Different lac crops have distinct harvesting periods. For instance, the summer or Baisakhi and rain or Kakti crops of Rangini lac mature after 8 and 4 months of transmission, respectively. Similarly, the summer or Jetvi and winter or Agani crops of Kusumi are ready in June, July, and January, February, respectively. Estimated yields per tree in India vary, with approximately 6 to 10 kilograms for Kusum, 1.5 to 6 kilograms for Ber, and 1 to 4 kilograms for Dhak. While insect life cycles may allow for 2 stick lac yields per year, it is often advisable to allow a 6-month rest period to let the host tree recover. Last step is the scraping of raw lac from twigs. Scraping involves the removal of encrusted lac resin from the lac host stick. Following the harvest of matured lac and occasionally immature lac, scraping becomes a necessary initial step for long-term storage. This essential practice is carried out using either a scraping knife or a crusher, depending on the specific applications. Students, let's talk about the composition and properties of lac. The approximate percentage of various constituents of lac is resin 68 to 90%, dye 2 to 10%, wax 5 to 6%, mineral matter 3 to 7%, albuminous matter 5 to 10%, and water 2 to 3%. Lac is recognized as a versatile resin owing to its numerous advantageous properties. Key attributes of lac include its solubility in alcohol, adhesive nature, water resistance, high scratch hardness, the capacity to form uniform and durable film, and the ability to undergo rapid rubbing with sandpaper without gumming or slicking. Now, let's shift our focus to the diverse uses of lac. Due to its unique properties, lac finds extensive application in the manufacturing of lac bangles, glazed paper, printing and waterproofing inks, dental plates, and optical frames. It is also utilized for finishing various commercial products like playing cards and oilcloth. Additionally, lac is employed in preserving archaeological and zoological specimens. In the electrical industry, it serves as a coating for insulators, spark plugs, and sockets of electrical lamps, offering anti-tracking insulating properties. In the pharmaceutical sector, lac is utilized for coating tablets and microencapsulation of vitamins. It plays a role in the automobile, paint, cosmetic, and leather industries. Historically, lac was extensively used in the gramophone industry. It has a long-standing use in decorative and insulating varnishes, often applied as the initial coating on wood to fill pores. Bleached lac is widely employed in the coating of confectionaries and medicinal tablets. Lac dye is a common choice in India for dyeing wool, silk, and as a cosmetic for the skin. Lac wax finds broad usage in manufacturing lipstick and shoe polishes. In conclusion, our exploration of lac culture has revealed its integral role in agriculture and various industries. From its historical roots to modern applications, lac's versatility is evident. Lac cultivation not only sustains livelihoods, especially in regions untouched by the Green Revolution, but also aligns with the current trends favoring natural and eco-friendly products. Modernizing cultivation practices holds the key to increased production and economic opportunities. As we navigate the future of lac culture, it is clear that embracing sustainability and innovation can propel this industry forward. Lac stands as a dynamic and vital resource with the potential to contribute significantly to our nation's growth and prosperity. With that, we conclude our session for today. Thank you.